Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Welcome once again to Dork Duck Daily, the show with all the news you nerd and the other tribbins. Good morning to you. Good game. And first, hello, Sam. Good morning. Hello, Mike. Good morning. Hey, Donk Duck. Donk Duck's a solid. I like it. She says, "Hi Jeff, how is life in our fine dystopia?" It's moving along. Things are slowly chugging in the correct direction. Which is always with my life simultaneously like a happy thing and then also kind of just like, all right, what's coming? what's sneaking around the corner? This is all going a little too well. But I'm trying really hard right now to like tighten up my personal responsibility stuff, especially in the realm of how I spend money, like a small child whose father never loved him and finds that love through fast food and it's basically that's I spend a lot of money in fast food. It's the easiest. I could talk myself into a DoorDash so quickly, and the amount of times that I should reasonably DoorDash and like have it be like a thing that like actually like, yes, that's a thing that was a justified purchase. Which camera is that? Oh, it's that one. Shooting way up for some reason. Yeah, the times in my life that I could justify a DoorDash is maybe over maybe 5 years ago when I had COVID and couldn't leave bed and had children, and then those DoorDashes were justified. I'm not sure any of the rest of them have been. But I could talk myself into justification real fast. Jesus puts away Grubhub Fair. I get it. I was talking to Sam about this one day though, and it's like, I don't think we should ever feel bad for these sorts of things though, because like we live in this capitalistic nightmare that is advertising at us constantly. And we've gone from a world where, you know, the advertisements would hit us in between cartoons and you could get up and leave the room for them to just like, it is in our phones, which we're supposed to be on constantly. It's in our everything is like in this constant like, hey, buy this, hey, buy this, hey, buy this. And I'm part of the problem because I sell comic books and I need to sell them to live. So I'm like in everybody's phones like, hey, Battle Beast blind bags this week. Come on. It's crazy. Mike says I spent 40 quid on fish and chips yesterday, and as soon as we finished, we were like, we should have cooked. Yeah. But fish and chips, fucking, oh man. I used to, my OG post college job, was I worked for a creative writing institute that was out on Martha's Vineyard. Oh, I live nowhere near Martha's Vineyard, and in both metaphorical and geographical means, I'm was only able to go out to the island where rich people play because that was my job. So I'd go out there. And I couldn't afford to eat any of the places that any of the clients that we were serving were going to, right? I could, however, find either back on the other side of the island or like in the work class, some of the best fish and chips I've ever had in my life. It was fucking amazing. And I miss that the most from my trips out to the East Coast. Um, Sam says every home should have a pie hole to deal with ads. I don't know what that is. Educate us. G says I can't cook, I can't drive. Can I be the exception to the rule? Is this allowed? Yeah, that's 100%. That was me when I was riddled with COVID. There are definitely people out there that that stuff makes complete sense for, and it's like I'm so glad that that stuff exists for them. Um, it's not my dumb fat ass who's like doesn't need to like be this lazy. That's the thing. Sam says it's a Raspberry Pi that is set up at modem level to block advertisement servers from being able to connect to anything in your home. That's cool. I like that. I have the spirit, but my body does not. Yeah, I feel that. I just need to like so we do this gig, which is this this show, which doesn't really this show and stream, which is just like add on. We do this for I don't know, it doesn't make money, but the comic shop theoretically makes money, but not like and give it, and like we make these decisions and we work these kinds of things with the mindset and the headspace that it's like you guys could go get real jobs, but if you did, you'd be working for people that you didn't want to work for and living a life you didn't want, and you wouldn't be doing these things that you want to do, which is like making sure a small town has a cool comic shop and like doing these things all that kind of stuff, right? Which like you can like string into like a silly sense of nobility accidentally real fast, right? That all goes away, and that doesn't make any sense if you're taking what little money is coming in, the paltry sum that's coming in, that you're like, oh, I'm going to live on this, and that's a more noble path, right? That any amount of that possibility of that being like a noble thing goes away if you're taking what little money then is coming in for these people that work their fucking asses off all week at real jobs. They're going to fucking factories and dealing with bosses and missing their families. They don't get to work with their partner like Celine and I do. They're going out, they're suffering, they're coming in, they're spending money on like cool comic stuff, but also to make sure the space exists. And then if I'm taking that money and being like, I'm gonna fucking DoorDash it, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fucking give me some sushi and some Celsius, because like I could walk across the street and buy a Celsius, but that involves walking. Like, what the fuck? But like I stumble into that so quickly. And just get there and normalize it. And then it's like, and then you wake up like fucking 6 months later, like you're the fucking Hulk. Just like, you're Bruce Banner again. You're like, what the fuck did I do? Why is there no money in these bank accounts? It's a problem. So I started bulk making sandwiches. I got like Ziploc baggies, and laid them all out, and it's the biggest problem with bulk making sandwiches I found is keeping cats off the table that are like, oh my god, look at all this delectable lunch meat that Dad is laying out for us. But you sit there and you do all the and I have like in the fridge just like a thing now full of dated sandwiches, and which means that like to pack a lunch in the morning, I just have to go grab a sandwich or two and then grab a couple things, and it's like there's no act of like, oh, I should make a lunch. It is just literally like and we're good. And that's not like a revelation that I've stumbled upon. Like, meal prep is a the concept that like the world has known. Um, it's all really silly. In this capitalistic dystopia. She says, I want ramen. I consume so much money just eating with my adrenal tissues. Eat. I need to eat two appetizers and one main entree to get through nutrients. I consume. That's fair. We found a new diner on Sunday that specializes in like really good homemade style fried chicken, which I've not had, and we went and it was amazing. And then bought like strawberry rhubarb pie on the way out the door, and bought apple butter on the way out the door, so we're gonna have like apple butter throughout the week. And but like the chicken was like, the drumstick was huge, and the sides were like, I think it was like $13, and you got two massive pieces of chicken, very abundant sides. Like there's so much to them. And it was like everything was just like, had the way that like a side any other place would be like, oh, you want the mac and cheese? Would you like to add bacon to that for $4? It was just like, the side is mac and cheese with bacon in it, or the side is beans with bacon in it, or the side is... And then on top of that, on top of your two sides you chose, you got this like giant slice of a sweet bread, and you got to choose between like different sweet breads. It's a pretty wild experience. It was very good. So I did that on Sunday, and that kind of helped put things into perspective too, because it was like we got so much food. I think we got out of there for like $50, and that's like buying extra food on the way out the door. To be like, we would like, it's one of those places. They have like 9 different pies up. And you can like, oh, you want to buy a slice of pie on the way out the door to go? Sure. Which of these 9 pies would you like? And it was so much food for $50, kind of the tip, and the amount of times we have stupidly spent that on just garbage. It kind of helps put into perspective of just like, yeah, we need to be making better choices. She said, I found out I was terminally ill after moving to my 2nd-story condo with no elevator. That was Jesus. And you've not felt true joy until you order sweet tea and dump 3 sugars in it with the waiter staring in order. That's sweet tea. I would watch people back when I worked at McDonald's and they introduced the sweet tea. I would watch that happen a number of times. Sam says, it definitely altered my perspective on spending when you mentioned we're under like constant psychological assault. It's so true. It's crazy. And it, like, I don't know, because there's definitely that thing where it's like, and then some parents raise their kids in a world like completely shielded from advertisements. And I think that is like probably better. But then there's also then when the kids see the ads for the first time, that, and remember, like, if you go today, well, it'll take you 4 years, but if you go for 4 years and get a psychology degree, the number one employer of psychologists out there is advertisers. It's more than likely you won't be like practicing and seeing patients. You will be working for an advertisement agency. because that's what they do. They hire psychologists just to figure out how to like get their little fingies exactly into our brains and create a need, and then have them be like, and we're the solution to that need. It's insane. He says my adrenal issues make me have low blood sugar and blood pressure, which is why I do. Oh, okay. If that's already so much sugar, I am unkillable. Sam says I'm more graceful with people spending frivolously. Not that it's even my place to judge, but also trying to condition myself to hate the product and brand I see an ad for. Yeah. He says, kind of funny how I paid for college when YouTube was an option. But then I wouldn't have spent my best years skipping ads and reading comments. When the hell did advertisements get so good? They're like narcotics. So now I'm spending every penny I own I should have allotted to finishing college. Those are lyrics, by the way. What are those lyrics to? Sam says, I've been downloading clips since last night. I don't know how we fit so many things into April. It's so much. It's AGR 3 o'clock. Okay, nice. I can't believe May's almost like it's like halfway done. It's crazy. It's been a crazy whirlwind of a month already. And then once they're done with May, we're like basically at the halfway point. Like 2025 just cruising. But you know what? It's okay because we got news every day. We make a whole little segment out of it. All the news you learn. We call it the Daily Quack. GU sent more lyrics. Saying it also has these lyrics. I don't know the song, so I'm gonna just assume what the song is. All right. Stay out of lyrics. Stay on the fence. Stay out of all of it. Keep half of your fans. Isn't this obvious? Am I insane? There might be two sides to everything. That you say, it's all a bit cloudy, but there's one thing I know, that if you're fucking racist, then don't come to my show. Yeah. Nailed it. All right. Sam says, dude, I stole Shiki's stream for Choo Choo Charles. Beat the Ori games. Beat Hollow Knight Deathless. Did the big bad tactics fight in one punch. That was probably my favorite moment. And that doesn't even get into all the demos and small games Shiki did too. It was such a packed month for us. It was wild. I would have thought a lot of that was May, but like that just goes to show like how disconnected I've been the last 2 weeks. She says they do another verse because the joke is mental health. They have to do another verse. We can't leave on that note. Wait, this is the meeting. Nice. All right, this one was submitted by Gio via Shiki, via the Shiki messaging service. Nintendo privacy policy update. The Switch 2 may monitor and record audio and video chat sessions with your consent. This is from Michael Kripe over at IGN. Who says the Nintendo Switch 2 launches in less than 1 month, so you should know that it may use some of its new features to record your audio and video chat sessions. Nintendo clarified its intentions on the privacy policy section of the website. It's a recent change that might impact how players utilize devices such as the Switch 2 in their homes on the go. As Nintendo says, it may use your information to provide a safe and secure environment for certain of our services. Our services may allow you to create, upload, or share content such as text, images, audio, video, your nickname, and user icon, or other content that you create or is licensed to you. The Your Content section of the privacy policy says, with your consent, and to enforce our terms, we may also monitor and record your video and audio interactions with other users. When you use any of our services that include these or other similar capabilities, we may collect your content in accordance with our terms of use in this policy. It's worth noting that Nintendo's line about needing the user's consent to monitor and record video and audio, which suggests there will be an opt-in button when setting up the Switch 2. Yeah, but it's going to be buried in a fucking terms of service thing a mile long. Worth noting Nintendo's line about okay. Still, it's an important update fans should be aware of as we inch toward the launch of the Switch 2, which is slated to arrive June 5th. New Nintendo console means new features, and this time around, one focus for the architects behind the hardware involved are giving players more multiplayer communication options. Leading the charge in this initiative is a new C button, which allows users to instantly start chatting with friends across Nintendo's online network. Pressing the button allows players to speak with friends via microphone built into the Switch 2 itself. Screen sharing is also available to those who wish to replicate the feeling of couch co-op with buddies outside your play area, as is video streaming for those who purchase the new camera accessory. Video options specifically seem to be relatively low quality, but still do the job of broadcasting your face and potentially your environment to your friends and whoever sits in the bowels of Nintendo logging all this saved stuff that's going to happen. Outside of improved graphics and mouse-like control options, voice and video chat might be the Switch 2's defining feature, so it's important to keep Nintendo's recent privacy policy changes in mind. For the upcoming tech launch, you can read... Oh, that's a bunch of stuff. She says, dystopia time. Sam says, the more Nintendo talks, the more I've decided. The Switch was 1,000% my last console from them. G says, with your consent means if you sign the TOS, from what I can tell, yeah, I think it's just going to be buried in there. Sam said, did you see they added to their terms that they can brick your system if they deem you broke their rules? Yep. And G says, and they made it illegal to sue them, or tried to. Yeah, Nintendo is... I don't like any of this. The current workings of this. I will also say, as someone who has bought every Nintendo system and basically every console for the most part, outside of the weird ones, like I didn't buy the, what was the Google one, the Ouya, what was that Google console's name? I didn't buy that thing, but I bought every console at launch, I think, since like the GameCube. We started all this by saying I don't make good financial decisions. I'm not going to switch to. I don't know if I will. And the Switch is, I think, Nintendo consoles have always been the ones I've used less than other consoles, but there's always been like that handful of games that I'm like, oh man, I don't think I could have lived without that. And outside of Animal Crossing during the pandemic, I don't, and that was such like a time and place unique thing. Like, I don't think Nintendo gave me that game this round in the Switch. There's nothing on the Switch that I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so glad I had a Switch. Other than that, I think that was the one. And there's a bunch of games I've enjoyed playing on the Switch, but they're all games that I could have enjoyed playing other places. It's kind of wild. G says, so all I'm saying is morally, Nintendo can't stop you from putting an iPad and playing old people for it in front of I'm sure that's one of the things that can brick the console, but This is, do you think the new C button is going to be like hitting the internet button on the old phones? Like, shit, 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 back, back, back. I don't want to charge extra money for people that have no. Probably. And I'm going to accidentally, I'm not going to have one for at least a while, but if ever. But it feels like one of those things you're just going to accidentally hit all the time. Tim says, I will enjoy my old consoles. I'm just going to be a retro streamer eventually. They're worse. But I still like new video games. I still like the concept of like, hey, here's new games coming out. Hey, let's talk about the new games. I like that. I like art and culture, and I specifically in the vein of video games and movies. And it's real easy to get cynical about it because we are simultaneously living through, like, there's a lot of like really cool games coming out right now. But as far as the video games that are shoved in front of us and shoved down our throat, the last couple of years have maybe been the most artless of my lifetime. The most cynical, like, here's some more slop, you nerds. Like, it's been bad. It's been kind of crazy. And thank God for things like Expedition 33 and things like a bunch of other games I'm not thinking of right now. South of Midnight and there's just so much like good to be found, right? But that's not always the stuff that is being shoved at us. Them says, oh yeah, I will still be in the new indie scene, but I'm kind of done with AAA brands. I think we're on the verge of, I think Expedition 33 is like the first launch of what is going to be like this wave of incredible games from newly minted indie studios from people that were used to work at these cynical AAA companies. And what's great about it is that they've found this like nice things like Baldur's Gate, things like Expedition 33. They've found this nice like mid tier. Like they're coming out. Expedition 33 is $50. And in a world where AAA games are $80, the fact that, you know, Baldur's Gate, I think it was full priced at the time of 60. Expedition 33 is 50. Things like what was Helldivers was like 40. Like they keep falling in like that range of like we're gonna stick around 40 to $50. And it's pretty great. By the way, can I be serious for a second to point this out? Always. G said, I think the thing is this stuff creeps me out due to the kids and the parents who legit don't know better, which is the stuff people like this targets. Like grandma might not know she's buying a third-party controller. My dad did that to me with the charger. Yeah. Yeah. Sam says if gaming moves to 80 as a norm, I literally will not be able to afford new games. Yeah. I can't now. I mean, there are reasons to be critical of Game Pass, but like if it weren't for Game Pass, like I would not be able to play all of these games that I enjoy. I can enjoy them on Game Pass because it costs $15 a month, and I don't get to keep them, but I enjoy the large sample buffet that is like ever rolling in. I've been debating for a month to get a game, and I only might because I can use it as a charity incentive. Yeah. I really like things like Game Pass personally. I like the sample buffet. and I like that I can move in and out of games without feeling like, oh my god, I paid for this, and then I can go, and if I really really care about a game that I've played, then I can spend money on like a physical edition of it, or like I need to own this, or I can spend money gifting a copy to person who I'm like, oh my god, this game, I want to support it. I like that model a lot. Um, the dangers of that, which Microsoft has not been successful, so I think it's will be fine and safe. But the dangers of that model is like the more comfortable people get with owning nothing, you eventually get something where it's like, like, oh, they're already there, right? Where they're taking Game Pass and they're like, well, if you want Call of Duty, you need the extra special Game Pass, right? So it won't stay in this wonderful space it is now. But like, it's been nice, and there's so many games that I've come across that I might not have pulled the trigger on because I'm poor. But like, and we've all been there too, where we have pulled the trigger because it's like, I got some money now, I want to play and support this game, and it's ass, and you're just like, god damn it, why did I do that? G says, I want to be clear, I'm mad at Nintendo for being sleazy for the prices alone, but this upsets me on top of it. Like, I don't just care about what affects me, but this on top of it is so gross. Every disability controller for Nintendo isn't made by them. Also, they don't even sell Switch docks anymore. Like a lot, you have to buy a whole new Switch. Too long didn't read. Nintendo's business practices are so bad in general. They push people towards those third-party stuff. Instead of fixer practices, they're punishing us. Tim said, yeah, they're forcing first-party purchases is very shitty, especially since they don't offer an option for disability. Yeah, and there's a long, long, long history of like tiered controllers in the house. Of like, you're the little brother, you get this controller. That I don't know. I don't get Nintendo as a company is always like flopping around in weird ways, and there's always there's like this core group of people for which Nintendo could do absolutely no wrong. And they're kind of amazing. They're and especially some of them is like that's all they do is play Nintendo stuff. And when you like try to talk to them or ask them like about it, they're like, "Oh, well, I just play Nintendo," and then there's no such thing as a bad Nintendo console. They've like loved all of them. They wear T-shirts that say "Virtual Boy" is my homeboy. Probably not, but I don't know. But like that's maybe the one console they admit is bad. But they're just like, no, it's all great. And then for the rest of us, it's just kind of like this constant state of like, what are they doing now? Okay. And then sometimes like it's accidentally really good, and you're like, all right, yeah, no, this Wii Sports fucking rips. Let's go. But like, to say that even the Wii was not them flopping around from random thing to random thing, it's always just like this constant, like, what are they doing now? What's going on over there? And so much of it's bad, and everyone just kind of forgets the bad and moves on because they're like kind of charming and silly, and yeah, this one's called a Wii. It's like, all right, what a weird name. What are they doing? And I will say, the Switch 2 has maybe been the most that they have felt less like that silly company flopping around and more like a calculated capitalistic nightmare. It is just like, here is the Switch 2. It is better than the Switch 1. Fuck your Switch 1. You need to buy the Switch 2 now. Also, it won't work with this and this. Also, some of the physical games won't actually be physical games. Also, they're $80 now. Like it's just this constant onslaught of just like bullshit. In the vein of like the Xbox One launch with so much better PR, and it's still got those Nintendo fanboys that are just like, woo! So I don't think much is going to happen. Like, people like this group of fine individuals are going to get all worked up about it, but your larger populace doesn't seem to care and seems to be ready and excited for it. He says, I always see the commentary of video games are behind on this, but they're not. Microsoft, Sony both have them first party, and they don't break your PC if you use third party. On the controllers for handicap, yeah. G says, like, this is legitimately only for Nintendo. Don't even get me started on the brightness settings and the industry standard that Nintendo just goes nah to. Tim says, I think moving forward in the world, especially as we move toward oligarchy, no AI regulations, mass layoffs, ignoring human and consumer rights, not letting them own their purchases, consumers as a whole are really going to have to start choosing ethically how to spend their money. The corps will not care till it affects their profit. Jesus, the Terminator logos are going to have Nintendo logos in that. Is that energy for me? Sam says, I don't know, man. I know a lot of Nintendo fanboys that have been taking a step back. I think they're starting to wake up a little bit. Okay, hopefully. I'm gonna say if they would have, if Nintendo would have, instead of been like, it's the Switch 2, if they would have been like, this is called the Redongo, and it was like, this one you play with your feet. I don't know. They would probably, because the one thing Nintendo has going for them typically is they have some of the best game design on the planet. Game design, and like, I think some of that magic has waned a little, but it's still like pound for pound some of the best stuff out there. And so if they released a Redongo that you played with your feet, they would release the best fucking dancing game known to me, and it would be like, fucking, you know what's great? Mario Dance Mix on the Redongo. That console was ass and you played it with your feet, but that game ruled. And it'd be great. And that would feel like more classic Nintendo. Again, this just feels so calculated, and I'm not sure that world would be better. This is an Astrobot growing up on PS1. I fucking love it. You're talking to the Astrobot guy. I preach the good word of Astrobot. Dylan says, hell yeah, we talking Redongo. Astrobot fucking rules. One of the most well-deserved Game of the Year awards ever. Good morning, Dylan. Max is dead. HBO Max is back. This is from our friend Zach Sweezen over at Kotaku. Says Warner Brother Discovery's streaming service Max will soon have a new name. Well, not a new name, an old name. That's right, folks. HBO Max is back. Just a few years after everyone on the planet said it was dumb to change the name to Max. HBO Max first launched in 2020 and offered up a bunch of HBO shows and movies alongside other WB-owned content like DC movies and Adult Swim shows. Then in April 2023, WB Discovery CEO and dingus David Zaslav announced that he was dropping the HBO branding from the service, and it would just be called Max. After this announcement, WB stock dropped by 6%, and people mostly laughed at the new name and kept using the old one. Then in February, WB branded Max's logo from blue to black, seemingly signaling a return to the HBO branding. And now here we are. HBO Max is back after millions of wasted dollars. On May 14th, WB Discovery announced that it was bringing back the HBO Max name this summer because consumers now demanded better content, not just more content. Back in 2023, after dropping HBO from the brand, the reason given was because they wanted people to not assume it was just premium adult content. Anyway, here's some corpo blabble that will make you roll your eyes so hard they might fall out of your head. God bless you, Zach Sweezen. Fucking champ. All right, let's go with the corpo blabble. Blah. Blah, blah. All right. Returning the HBO brand into HBO Max will further drive the service forward and amplify the uniqueness that subscribers can expect from the offering. It's also a testament to WBD's willingness to keep boldly iterating its strategy and approach, leaning heavily on consumer data and insights to best position itself for success. Jesus, my favorite show was on HBO Max. One of my favorite shows. I lied to you. It's like in my top 10. I can't say the name because it sounds so much worse than it is. Tangentially related to me. What's the show? Tangentially related to being where I have a guy coming over to fix my air conditioning. It's got black mold. Ugh, I'm sorry. If I vanish the spy, if I vanish the stream, not like in general. Sam says, I still live for the day Zach is on the show. He is responsible for like 90% of the stories in the last year. Yeah, well, it's really funny too, because the utter panic. So when like it looked like Giant Bomb was shutting down, but they got saved, thankfully, and are now independent. And Polygon had like the mass firings and basically shut down to be like the AI slop house, right? When all that was happening last week or 2 weeks ago, we forgot that Zach was at Kotaku and thought he was at Polygon. And the amount that Celine and I were licking our phones in desperation attempt to make sure that we could see that Zach was okay. like it was a relative or something. Like, did you hear there was a fire over the... Oh my God, is this person okay? We were so worried about Zach. Northwoods Law, it's not a cop show. It's a park ranger show where they talk about how people get lost, get found, and how they help animals. Oh, that sounds great. ACAB, don't disown me, very ACAB, but hey, this goose has sprained wing and now we must chase for hours in my jam. Yeah. Oh, I grew up watching Law and Order and it's still my comfort show. And if Ice-T, if America's treasure, Ice-T, can record the song Cop Killer, and then also be on Law and Order SVU playing a cop, I think you can enjoy your park ranger show and be fine. Here's Zach just saying, yes, what a bold strategy. Taking a name that was popular, recognized, liked, and successful, and tossing it in the bin because he completed a big merger and suddenly had new execs wanting to shake things up and be part of the process. Then after the new name flopped and everyone mostly ignored it anyway, you sneak back out to the garbage, clean up the old name, and bring it back with a big press release that touts out HBO as a brand connected to quality and prestige. Makes you wonder why you ditched it to begin with? Now let's all think about how much money was spent on this stupid process. and how the richest people in the world running these companies aren't good at their jobs. Welcome back, HBO Max. You should have been killed in the first place. Why are you holding the heron like that? They have a habit of stabbing at eyes when captured. Oh. All right. This is also from our pal Zach Sweezen. This new Superman trailer looks like the Superman movie we've wanted for years. The first official trailer for WB and DC's upcoming live Superman movie is here. And James Gunn's take on the iconic superhero looks like the Man of Steel movie we've wanted for a long time. On May 14th, after a few teases and sneak peeks, DC released the first official full-length trailer for Superman. The movie set to hit theaters July 11th. It's going to kickstart a new era of live-action DC movies that will be overseen by co-DC Studios CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran. I'm very excited. I've not watched this trailer yet.
Are you being serious right now?
And probably make it bigger. And or we could just watch it in that just tiny window. I do enjoy the fun of like the tiniest window possible, coupled with like, are you being serious right now? All right.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some
it's
might.
A lot of fire,
it's a lot.
Out the gate, I'm gonna say the fact that she just knows he's Superman is went 10 out of 10 decision. 10 out of 10. Why did she remind me of Katy Perry? Don't do that to her. That's not nice. That's not nice in the year of our Lord 2025. Soup for my family. Yeah, at the gate, the decision to have her just know that he's Superman is fucking amazing. Sam says, why is that not nice? Her star has fallen. If it ever was. I mean, Katy Perry always kind of existed in this weird, like, kind of cringy thing, but she kind of rode the wave of like, I don't want to be too hard on her. She's another pastor's kid. Like she came up in Christian stuff and then went, and her big song out the gate was "I Kissed a Girl and I Like It," and that was like at the time very progressive of a song, but then in retrospect seems kind of like attention grabby and just like be like, boys, are you paying attention? I like to kiss girls more than it's like, hey, like being gay is normal and cool, right? And some of that is like not her fault. That's just the passage of time. But it's just, you couple that with like she just did a big thing where she paid Jeff Bezos to go to space, to be like the first pop star in space, and it was like a big thing, and it was like, and it's flopped because the whole of society was like, why are you doing that? Stop. And they were launching it like it was going to be this big, amazing PR thing that she was going to be the first pop star in space. And then her last album did not do well, and it was very... I would say people are harsh on that one. Because it's cringy, but in a very just like, she seems like a mom, which that part's fine. What's not fine, though, is she made the decision to stick with Dr. Luke. So I'm sorry, Sam, I'm getting way too far into this. Who's the asshole who abused Kesha for years? So, it's Katy Perry is a person who is like being slaughtered in the press these days, and some of it's fair and some of it's not. It's what I would say. This stuff where they're going after her for just being mom cringe. She's a fucking mom. Like the paying Jeff Bezos to go to space, the sticking with Dr. Luke, those are bad. Some of the other things have some context, right? Yeah, after this was known, when every woman in the industry was boycotting him in solidarity, and she made him and two other guys make a woman anthem, like she made that her, but yeah. Sam says, I don't keep up with celebrity culture. This makes me happy I don't. I just like to make jokes and get jokes. That's my thing. It's been my thing since I was a little pup. I want to keep up with culture so I can make jokes and get jokes. That's it. That's the insecurity around it, is like a joke being made that I don't get, or me not being able to make that joke and the other person in the room making it first, is an insecurity that has plagued me since I was like 7, that has led to me being obsessed with all culture around me forever and always. So let's scoop up some more culture.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might. It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me and doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices, your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. Somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
You have a dog?
I have the whole thing with that has become almost a meme at the point of a middle-aged man tearing up at a trailer, which I always thought was like the stupidest content on the internet. Like, oh my god, they made fucking the corporation made another IP thing. Time to cry. But like, I don't even like Superman, but like, I think we all need this right now. Jesus fucking Christ. The world is so fucked right now. Like, Jesus, that thing's full of hope, and I fucking love it. And fuck. I'm not. I'm mad. I'm angry. Because it James Gunn makes fucking amazing things, and he's a beautiful filmmaker. But it's not like his fault that I'm like tearing up at this. It's fucking Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the other pieces of shit that have made me like so fucking cynical about everything at this point in my life. That looks good. Stevie said I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. That didn't look good to me at all. You know, your mileage may vary. Obviously, I've had a pretty big response to that. Sam says that might be the best crypto. Yeah. Dylan says, damn it, James Gunn, you made me interested in Superman. Hey. I'm crying at a trailer like it's someone in the 2010s making internet content. No. She says, Jeff.
People pay for...
Did you say you wonder if people pay for teeth brushing content? Probably.
I never really watched my...
I'm sure no one can hear you. You're not being picked up by mics, but I'm sure that's the thing. Ju says, Jeff, do you think Superman would let people who are heavily stressed out and going through traumatic events throw things at him, knowing it wouldn't hurt him, like consensually, to have one of those healthy let it out rooms? I think that's what's in that scene with that dude throwing the soup at him. I think that's it 100%. Snoopy says, I may just be done with what is that the 7th Superman in my lifetime. I mean, if you count all the shows, movie wise, we've basically had 3, and the Brandon Roth one was like a throwback to the Christopher Reeves one. But if you count all the shows, and yeah, there's a lot. She said, I just want Superman to give me a hug. I'm not even a huge fan of his, but the world is bad and he's such a good superhero, and I want to. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm so ready for just a good wholesome. G says I want Captain America and Superman back. I'm done with angsty heroes. Make they're just good guys come back. I think that's what we need right now. I truly think that that's like where we're at. Dylan said, I've never liked Superman, but having him not understand that just saving people's life, regardless of race or nationality or anything other than just being a human, is great. Yeah. Cheeky says, don't throw soup. Oh, well, good morning, Cheeky. I didn't see you sneak in. Can you lightly toss it my way? I could use some stew. Stew is good. I might be hitting you up, Shiki. I'm trying to do better at like meal prepping and like having things around. I'm trying to be better with my finances and cook more and everything else. And like you should make like a group or something that's like my meal prep was I just made like a bajillion sandwiches. That was my meal prep. I'm still proud of it. There's like a whole tray in my fridge full of sandwiches, and they're all like dated and say what's on them. And that was solid, especially because whenever I purchase ingredients for sandwiches in the house, what happens, which lasts about the same time anyways, right? But what happens is that, you know, I go to make a sandwich and I go, what happened to all the ham? And like one of the kids like, I don't know, I made a sandwich. Like, with how much ham? How much ham did you put on the sandwich? Sam says, oh, Jeff, I've been surviving push-ups past 50. I know we talked a couple weeks ago about stopping at 50, but I'm me, so I didn't. That's awesome. Congrats. Oh, Shiki says, I caught up with Last of Us days. All I was, yeah. Yeah, that show's incredible, and I can join the very normal online discourse about that show. It's very normal. It doesn't need me. It make me need Superman at all. Uh, I'm sorry. That's all I was saying. Yeah. All right. Sony says PS5 price hikes are possible as it faced $680 million hit from tariffs. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku, who says all eyes have been on Sony to see if it follows in Microsoft's footsteps. And in response to increased U.S. tariffs, dramatically raises the price of PlayStation 5. The company confirmed to investors on Wednesday that it might end up doing exactly that as it faces a potential $680 million hole in its bottom line from the new import taxes on China and other countries. In a Q&A following its latest earnings report, Sony CFO Lin Tao suggested passing on the price of tariffs to players is one of the possibilities the company is taking into account as it tries to forecast the impact of President Trump's ongoing trade war. Sony confirmed there's still about 3 months worth of PS5 inventory already on store shelves in the US. That buys it some extra time. If things don't change, however, CEO Hiroki Totoki said manufacturing some consoles in the US was one possible strategy on the table for getting around tariffs over the long term. Sony currently makes most of its PS5s in China, which until recently was subject to an over 100% tariff by the US. While Trump recently paused that rate for 90 days, a 35% import tax still remains in effect, one of the highest in nearly a century. Even on its own, that would still be enough to significantly raise the price of the PS5 if Sony chose to pass the full brunt of the tax on to U.S. consumers. Plus, the 90-day pause would take the company to the end of its existing inventory in the U.S. American consumers would pay $12 billion more for video game consoles. Technology Association wrote this May 2025 report. As a result, U.S. consumers reduce overall purchases by 73%. Trump decided to bring back even higher tariff rates. After that, players could still be faced with $600 to $700 PS5s and $900 to $1,000 PS5 Pros. Microsoft recently raised the price of Xbox Series X by $100 and hasn't yet said anything about bringing that price back down if the tariffs continue to recede. The uncertainty comes just as Sony reported record profits thanks in large part to its booming gaming business, which has seen PS5 sales continue to match the success of the PS4. While the amount of money individual players spend on the platform on games, microtransactions, and subscriptions continues to rise relative to last console generation. So people are buying just as many PS4s. They're spending more money on that PS4, and they're spending more money natively on the platform too. It's all been very good business for Sony. It is as much as you can have sympathy for the corporation. It is sucks that like this is happening because like this is like not their doing at all, and they seemingly like I don't agree with everything that Sony has done, but I'm one person, and their consumer base as a whole seems to be pretty satisfied with what they're doing and seems to be pretty pleased. It's like it's wild to then have this come out and sideline them, and it's like I worry about the world of video games that in which there is not like a $300 to $500 option that a kid can get and like figure out how to get games for and like play and like once you move up into that $800,000 range, and then it's like a PC is like you're starting the conversation there, and it can get way worse. Once that's what we define, what like a gaming device is, right? You're already seeing it, but you're gonna have a whole generation of people for which this art form is only experienced through like phones and tablets. It is the reality we're gonna like slowly make, and that sucks. The one great thing you can say about the Switch 2, and it sucks that this is how much the needle has moved, is that it's only $450. And I say only because it's like that's what I paid for my PS5. No, I paid less than that. I paid $400 for my PS5. I paid $500 for my Xbox Series X, and in every other console generation I've lived through, as the consoles have existed, they've gone down in price, which means that there is then this whole like generation that comes afterwards, right? That is then able to that was me growing up until the GameCube PS2 generation. I always had the generation that came afterwards because it's like that stuff always wildly dropped in price. People moved on to the new thing, right? And like even over its life cycle, things would drop down, so you would get them later in the cycle or whatever. This all sucks, and it on the list of things that are affected by our current administration. I video game console prices are pretty low on the list. But it's, G says, I'm reposting this joke for Jeff. Did you know capitalism bad? Yes, we got it. Iron Man, trust me, we got it. I think Iron Man, in a lot of ways, starts off the Marvel MCU Iron Man in some ways starts off more like Superman adjacent, and I think weirdly like moves more into that direction over the course of his journey, and weirdly Cap moves away from it. They did some interesting things with those characters, not all of it on purpose, but I like their journeys. I'm a little more cynical and skeptical about what it's going to be with him playing Doom, how that's going to look. But Shiki says, I will only have discourse with people who didn't throw a fit because Ellie isn't hot. Well, so the problem right now, Shiki, is you have that discourse is blending with this like overall internet discourse for every television show right now, which is like at episode 2 going like, I don't like this. I don't see where they're going. Like this current season of Yellow Jackets, which personal opinion, like I think is like one of the better seasons of Yellow Jackets. But like you wouldn't know that at the time with everyone talking about it, because people can't just let things develop over the course of like, it's like they've already announced, guys, there's 8 episodes, so you can't judge where this is going till you see where this is. You guys were the ones who wanted TV that wasn't episodic anymore. We got it, so you have to let these things play out before you're like hypercritical of them. Sam says, I want the Last of Us prequel called The First of Us. Real talk, one of my published stories and the lost to time because the publication is closed. I could probably find the story. It's probably not very good. But one of my published short stories was called The Last of Us many moons before the video game came out, and it's really funny to think about now. And like is there a world in which I could be like, no, so what if I could like be like, because it was a post-apocalyptic thing too that was published. I would have trouble proving the publication now though, because it's very derelict. I wonder if I can maybe on Internet Wayback Machine or something. Be like, Sony, HBO, you owe me some money. Because I, too, wrote a post-apocalyptic story called The Last of Us. Bullshit. I like that story a lot in memory. It's probably, I would read it and be like, ugh! But it was, it followed the post-apocalypse and everyone is going to the ruins of Tiger Stadium, because that's how long ago I think Tiger Stadium was still standing, but like wasn't demolished yet, but they hadn't used it by the time I was writing it. But like it followed this guy like questing to get to Tiger Stadium in the post-apocalyptic zombie-ridden world, and you're like, what is this about? Why is he questing to get there? And when he got there, he was like a rerun of like the original like St. Nicholas. Like there was a bunch of kids waiting there it was Christmas and he was like bringing them all presents. I liked it. It was a decent enough story. It was probably written very terribly because I was like 18 and had not seen much of the world. But I did call it The Last of Us, and then that became this insane property. Shiki said, OG said, do I discuss the Clickers makeup? Because I mean, I love it, as in the actual makeup on the actors. Yeah, they look amazing. She says, no, look, that seems so fun to play that role. Also, knock on wood, but Sony tends to filter the uptick in sales in the controllers that are not the accessible ones. He says, you either die here or infect yourself with a zombie virus. Nod. She says, I want to see it though. Share it with the Sheik. I'll try to see if I can find it. She said, also, Universe is bad, but I want to share that there is an indie farming game where the capybara rides a sheep with a pigeon on its head. That's amazing. Hope this helps. That helps everything. Have you watched Flow yet? Is it called Flow? There's a good capybara in that movie. Yeah. Jesus now begins Jeff and my cooperative novel, We Unhappy Few Leftover People. Sam says, me who's never Last of Us at all. Who puts makeup on a remote? Yeah. If you've not watched Flow, this is maybe Buffalo Bill, probably. The 10 out of 10 joke. Would you fuck that joke? I'd fuck that joke. All right. This is probably up there in my favorite movies that came out last year. If you've not watched it yet, it's high recommendation. My biggest like qualm of it is it kind of feels like it has like PS2 era. Sam does. I don't even want to start explaining that joke, either of them. All right, this is. Oh, it made it all big.
Big heads up.
Also, I don't care about this. Stop. Get away, ads. Get away.
$36.
We don't like you. All right, I have to make the screen not gigantic. I was trying to play in like the little window. There we go. If for some reason you didn't watch this, Sam, I know you watch like 4 movies a year. I'm joking. I don't know how many movies you watch. I know you don't watch as many as me. I would put this on your list. It is very good. It came out last year. It is entirely wordless, and animals are fully the protagonist. Now, I will say that, like, because animals are the protagonist, like, there is, like, some rough thing of, like, we need to watch animals be in peril, but it is, like, this is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. It's amazing. Also, that cat looks like our cat Pete, so it was sometimes a stressful watch. We just felt like we were watching Pete. Yeah, this ended up winning the Oscar for Best Animated Film, which is like one of the most well-deserved I've ever. Yeah, high recommend. It's so it took me like a week to watch Jack the Giant Slayer. Yeah, you're not as big of a since I had meat sticks shoved in my face against my will YouTube. I'm pretty sure that's ground for assault. Hey, beautiful. She said, I'm already in love with the animation. That cat looks like Luna, and I'm guaranteed to cry 10 times throughout the movie. Oh, I cried, and then, but like, Selena and my youngest were like a wreck, and about every 10 minutes would be like, why are we watching this? Stop. Why? And then they both afterwards are like, that's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. But like, yet we're mad at me for turning it on so many times throughout the movie. G says, I've seen ads for this, but never had anyone to watch it with. And my thing is, I don't like watching movies alone. I would almost say this one is better to watch alone, given that, like, that and Wild Robot from last year are the two animated movies that made me bawl. Sam says, hi, Lena. How's the Labubu? Sam said hi, and how is the Labubu? I should probably show him off. She says they're putting Wild Robot on Netflix. That's Wild Robot's incredible, but yeah, make sure you have tissues there. Also make Sam watch that one too. Those are two movies. Very rarely will I be like, hey, make Sam watch this, but those two movies he will really enjoy. The rest can just be for us weirdos that need to watch every single movie. Sam said, that's wild. She says, oh my fucking god, I saw a screenshot about someone trying to buy a Labubu, and they were so fucking aggressive with the seller. She says, speaking of, Jeff, what? She says, also snake hooks have scary names, they're harmless, and it's actually comfy. Oh, okay. You watched The Sand yesterday? I don't know that one. This is the Labubu.
Mm-hmm. I didn't fight anyone online for it. I just ordered it from Mercari because I didn't want to go through the stress of doing the drops that they have on their website because they're like.
Cheeky said La Bebe.
Yes. He's got a little bit of a lopsided head, but it's okay. He's still cute. I love him.
Here, you can pull it over there. That one's up now.
Oh. I don't know why. I don't understand because I didn't know what the fuck these things were like a week ago, and now they're like all I want.
Shiki said, he's pretty cute. I should crochet some. Shiki, you have no idea. There is a whole cottage industry. You could be making money by making Labubu clothes and outfits.
No,
and
I'm serious. Like, yes.
It's a whole thing.
It is. A bag, a Labubu, like, his bag that he would carry around was like $15 on Mercari. Just a little bag.
Yeah.
For the baby. Do you guys want to see his car seat? Hold on. I don't really, this is probably like proof that I should not have, like a baby because I do not know how to put together a car seat. This is here with.
I can switch to that camera. I'm trying to figure out which camera would be best.
This is just a silly little Amazon car seat, so I would not put my real life baby in an Amazon car seat. Maybe. I don't know.
As long as you don't put baby in the corner, that's the one rule.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how this is supposed to work, but basically...
Dylan says check stream. Yep, those are still creepy as fuck.
Maybe he's too big for it. Maybe he's outgrown his car seat already.
Thank you for getting that, Cheeky. I made that joke just for you. Sam says petition to rename snake hooks to snake necklaces or snake scarves. I'm down with that.
Like he'd be so uncomfortable. How babies feel?
Maybe.
Like little.
He's in the car seat.
Yeah, he doesn't really sit.
Why? Okay, question about the car seat.
Yes.
Why does it have why is it just like a chair? Like, that's supposedly a car seat, but why does it have legs like it's just like an office chair?
I thought it was supposed to go like this. And, like, hook into your, But this is actually the bottom of the chair. It is like a little desk chair. It's like, I don't really drive very often, so it's fine that this is just like a little desk chair.
Yeah. Shiki suggests snake hammock. I like that.
I adjust the straps too tight. Oh god, I just broke it. Oh, it came on. Oh, the little buckle actually works. Like it comes undone.
Cool. Shiki also says she's gonna need measurements.
For the Labubu or the snake?
I don't know.
For the Labubu right now, as we speak.
Don't said little busted.
Bro, his little belly can't fit over the car seat.
I do like that they have a belly. I feel recognized.
Some people have been sewing them to have bigger booties too.
That is
There's like
a thing.
Whole pattern on my Labubu Discord.
I love that you're in a Labubu Discord.
I lurk in that one too. It's just, like I posted once when I got him, and then I haven't posted anything since because I'm too shy.
Shiki said, "Oh, I know the feeling, little buddy." Yes, I feel very well represented by the like just. I kind of appreciate that they have like no ass but a giant belly. Like it's like
they got Hank Hill build. Okay, his car seat's out of commission right now. He's gonna sit in the desk chair though, comfortably.
Shiki says they're so small. OMG, I could make dresses. I guarantee you, there's people doing that and making money right now. Your new mic stand will be here today, by the way.
I was trying to get the mic stand to be in front of him so he could join you in the show while I go do what I need to do, but I can't do that, so. There was a microphone somewhere around here that was just like an extra one that we had. I don't know what happened.
There's a snowball floating around here
It's
somewhere.
right down here.
You get
Why is it down here? I don't know. That's a really weird place to put a snowball microphone. It's not a snowball. Is this a snowball?
Oh, it's a Blue Yeti, I think.
Okay. There you go, little guy. There. Okay. Have fun.
Love you.
Love you too.
Sam said this is no offense to Lena, as this is the thing she's gotten into. Everything you guys say about the rest of this fan base sounds borderline culty. That's every fan base, though. Shiki said it's giving La La Loopsy fans or Monster High. We have so much Monster High stuff too. So currently in my shop, I have on consignment. It's probably going to be ours at some point if we can't sell it. It's like the original Monster High, like answer to like the Barbie Dream House, but it's like their school, but it's castle. It's very cool. But it's like the original one, so it's like $300. And every time I look at that thing, I'm like, please somebody else buy this. Otherwise, I'm going to be negotiating with my consignment guy.
I can't fit that in. I will not ever.
Supposedly, we won't ever be buying it because we can't fit it in the house. But I am.
What did I just do with that bag that was in here? There was a bag in
What
here.
bag?
I'm looking for my meds.
Oh, those are important.
Yeah, I mean, oh, there it is.
Okay. He's a podcast guest. How cute. Yeah, he's hanging out. G says I actually wanted to customize Monster High. There's people that do that on the internet. That shit's cool. She said I thought they were cool dolls. I love the idea, but people that came in to buy them were fucking wild. Yeah, I worked at Toys R Us when they came out. Yeah, I imagine. Well, it's like we had like
I very casually collect Draculaura, but like I'm not about to go to a store and like fight somebody for one.
right.
Like if I see one at the store that I don't have, I'm like, ooh, cool, and I have like extra money.
And we're kind of that way with. I mean, you got a little extreme with Labubu's, but most of our collecting hobbies.
But that's the only Labubu I have. It's not like I went and bought like 10.
No, right, but like.
I did get the have a seat ones, but that was just from sheer shock that I managed to even get on there and do it.
Yeah. She says I hated them because of the fans, but I thought they were super cool at the same time. They are cool. They're still cool. And also as someone who like has watched a lot of young kid media from having young kids, the Monster High shows were always pretty solid. The various iterations of them.
They're great. Especially when you're stoned. They're funny as hell.
Apparently they're funny as hell when you're stoned.
I don't know why. There's just something like otherworldly uncanny about them that makes it funny.
She said that was me with the Soup Troop Funko Pops. I was obsessed with them. I think I have like 6 of them. And we had at the shop this week, because Invincible came out years ago, and now the show's like wildly popular. So they're doing a new line of Invincible comics that are about like one of like a spin-off character, and named Battle Beast, and they did blind bags this week, which we got a lot of them for us, and we theoretically, we got around 100, and we very easily like could have justified getting like 200 or 300. At some point in the 200 to 300 range, we would hit this point where we would have like had them around kind of forever, but maybe not. I mean, people were fucking losing their minds yesterday, and so we had a bunch that were pre-ordered, so they had places they had to go, and we sold the majority of them that way, and then we had some on the shelf, and then we had more traffic yesterday than we've had on a new comic release day in a very long time, which thank you to Robert Kirkham for that. Like, he's always very good at that. It's kind of a slight bummer because there's like been incredible comics that have come out in the meantime that I can't get people to take 2 glances at. but like at the same time, it's like you're always happy to have that traffic. Except for like there was one person who came in and we were out because we ran out like at some point in the day because like it's again people are being crazy with these. And then because they're blind bags and they have like anything from the A cover up through like the 1 in 1,000 variant in them, and then extra stuff they threw in there possibly too, right? And then we were out and that person was just like, well, I see some there, because it's like we have our subscriber boxes. Like, yeah, those are sold. Like it's just like, well, I'll give you this much for them. I'll give you this much for them. And it's like, no, that's not how this works, buddy. Like, like these are to people that I see every week. I'm not going to see you after today, too. Why would I think? Like, so weird. So that's it's been a weird. It's been a weird weird day yesterday of just dealing with that insanity, and Pokemon cards are there right now where people are like mauling each other and killing each other over Pokemon cards, and I just like I've always been a nerd who's liked things, but I've never been like I need to get this thing so that other people can't get it. I've always been someone who's just like, hey, we should all be goblins with all the fun treasures. So they told you I'm sorry, and if I could unslash your tires. Kiki said I only saw them out in the wild once, never after that, and of course resellers fucking scooped them all up. I don't see what you use. I must know I'm the type of crazy where I used to carve my own ball jointed dolls, but then realized the intricacies of making doll ball jointed and that hyperfixation ended. But yeah, it's tough. And so like going through this era right now where I'm like trying to get more responsible with my finances and trying to be a more responsible adult, and it's coming off the heels of like, I had I had to have dental surgery whatever the month or two ago, right? And that was I don't have dental insurance. That was $720 I couldn't come up with, right? I was lucky that a friend just stepped in and paid for that without even like asking to be paid. I did pay him back, but like, with that way of lending of just like, here, I got it, I'm taking care of it, man. Like it, and I'm very lucky that I have someone that was able to do that, because like short of one person doing that, I was very much and very much am in an emergency away from like the Jeff runs a GoFundMe territory, right? And that's not I already, my day-to-day existence already it is because of these wonderful people that come in and buy things and support the store and support the stream and support all that stuff. And it's like it's so hard to like find that line of like, I need to be more responsible with what I'm doing with my money while simultaneously being like, hey, give me money. Like it's such a weird like try to know, and I think I'm landing there. I'm like falling in it. I went and canceled. I got a few more to do just out of like I had so many. But it's like I went in and canceled a bunch of our like media subscription things. And I think I'm landing on the like, I can justify like some Patreons and some Twitch subs in a way that I can't justify some of this other stuff, right? And I want my money going to my friends more than I want it going to corporations. Now, granted, Patreon and Twitch are both corporations, but like, I still working. It's work in progress. I'm still landing there, so that I'm not one emergency away from a GoFundMe. And but like we'll see. We're trying to get there. We're trying to like make some corrections and figure everything else. G said I'm really only consumerist for Kirby, and you know what? That's fitting enough. I don't care. Consume the consumer. I just, I don't want. End of the day, like these people that are already carrying me from week to week, I don't want them to have to foot the bill when something happens. And then or I do, but I want them to have already footed it, if that makes sense, right? Like and then I think I need to be more responsible with this money that I'm privileged and blessed enough to be able to, because again, these are people working real ass jobs out fucking tarring roofs and working in factories and everything, and I just sit there and be like, new comic day, woo! Like it's not a real job. So like, I need to be better with the blessings that I'm receiving, because it's fucking they're working their ass off, and then they're coming in and buying blind bags and getting excited about it, and like I should then be taking that money and making sure that everything's more secure, so that they will have that space still a year from now, 10 years from now. And then I need to also be making my life more secure, so that if something happens to me, I'm not coming back on them and others to try to foot the bill. So, G says, update, I have cheese. My pre-made sandwiches have pepper jack cheese on them, and they're very good. I had one this morning for breakfast, which it's a weird move, but you know what? Oftentimes, I'd be like, shit, I have to do the show, and I'd be like, shit, we have to go do this. And then I'd forget to eat, and then that'd be like, oh, we can go through a drive-through. It's those kind of habits I'm trying to break. So I was like, I'm gonna eat one of my sandwiches. It was good. It was a good sandwich. By the way, again, no one has to ever give us money. If you'd like to give us money, though, patreon.com/dorkduck is a price of comic book coffee, whatever a month. It's $5. You get stickers. You get stickers out of the deal. You get, okay, so one of my favorite things, like, I sent grad invites to my oldest kid who's graduating, and I sent them out to a bunch of people that, like, objectively would have no way of making it, but, like, it's, like, people we care about, and, we have lots of weird internet friends. Not that they're weird, but, like, it's just, like, what do you call this, right? And it's my favorite thing. Someone sent my kid a gift card. It's like one of my like best customers for years at the shop. Sent my kid a gift card, and then sent my kid a hot dog Jeff sticker that he had received. To which, like, I had no context, or like, because like I've not done those stickers outside of the Patreon thing. And I know my kid's not a patron. I just all of a sudden got a picture that my kid sent of like me as hot dog Jeff in their like sea of stickers on the back of their vehicle. I was like, what? Why is that there? It's amazing. But yeah, patreon.com/dorkduck. You get stickers. It's and it helps stabilize stuff around these parts. Cheeky said, I don't know what I want to eat. I'm defrosting burger, and I think I'm going to make a Big Mac salad tonight. Big Mac salad sounds like anything but actual food. Like, it sounds like a band name, or like a or a movie. We're going out Friday night to see Big Mac Salad. G says, I didn't have working water for 4 months. Ugh. I have roaches in my oven and microwave. There's black mold in my air conditioning unit. This is an event. I just think it explains a lot. I'm sorry about the mold and all that situation. That sucks. That really sucks. And the worst stuff about that, and it's like not even, is like even those of us that aren't facing all like the medical stuff you have going on too can watch a situation like that just like pile up on us. I know that was my situation with my basement here too, of just like, we got to get to that, and it's a growing problem, and that's people that are like able and not facing all the stuff that you've got going on. So, and not to discredit your abilities to do things, but just say that you got enough going on before all that. It fucking sucks. I'm really sorry. I don't know what help I can provide from this neck of the woods, but if there's anything we can do, let us know. She says, Big Mac Salad live at the Apollo. Yes. Dylan said, I just zested 2 lemons for garlic lemon herb chicken thighs. That sounds amazing. She says, I was dying before it entered the scene, but my outlook is very and people think that's me not caring. It's just kind of a vibe. And neat cheese. Yeah, I get that. Some of my issues with this house is that while I was going through a divorce and was pretty sure I was gonna not end up being able to keep the house, but was able to, largely because, again, I said before, I said again, I'm incredibly lucky to have a very wonderful, patient, and kind ex-wife who, like, I don't deserve, right? But she's like taking care of me as the father of her children in a way that like is way beyond the call of duty. Like she's great. But I didn't think I'd end up with this house because I didn't think I would end up with this house, and was depressed about getting divorced. 'Cause even though it was the right thing to happen, I couldn't see that at the time, and was just like living in big sad. And wasn't gonna, like, I struggle putting work into things anyway, so I wasn't gonna put work into a house that like I was gonna lose, right? So like I just let so many things get bad, and not only did I let things get bad, I also let I had better habits of taking care of things around here, and I let those atrophy too. And then it's really hard to work back into like, all right. Stu says, honestly, real talk, if people want to help me explaining basic stuff to me, like how to do stuff that is normal for others, is so helpful. My parents didn't teach me how to reheat food. I got you. And I got you to the tune of one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time. That I believe is wrapped up.
Adulthood comes with.
Okay. So, and it has one of my favorite people, because it was like the Green Brothers, I believe, were behind this completely, and Hank Green was on a lot of it. But it's How to Adult, and they just do things like, and their last episode is how to say goodbye, right? But there's episodes like How to Slow Cooker.
You told me you'd stay away from.
Oh my gosh, I like Andor. I don't need this ad in my face.
I know.
All right, so the amount that like I am like on the verge of like justifying a YouTube subscription while I'm canceling all subscriptions
Today,
is insane.
we are here to talk about one of the simplest and handiest kitchen appliances.
But like, here's their
around,
episode on
the
how to slow cooker.
Which you might also hear sometimes
The
called crock pot.
YouTube
That's
channel is
one of
called
those
How to
super
Adult.
pervasive
It's
brand-
amazing. It's very helpful. How to use a fire extinguisher. How did they just break things down. There's a whole bunch of them on finances. There's a whole bunch of them on home economics. There's a whole bunch of them on health. Professional automotives, relationships, and social skills. Yeah, this YouTube channel, high recommendation. Is it how to basic? I love this. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. Is that Bootstrap Bill? Yes, it is. You said like I was never told how you like wash dishes. I once asked what the buttons on the laundry does and got yelled at. Yeah, that's a lot of my navigating things too. It's fine. There is nothing wrong with not knowing something. It's really silly that we get so mad at ourselves for doing that. The Vlogbrothers are everyone's dad, and I just want to say that John Green had the same, and I had the same hyperfixation as him. Yeah, they're amazing, and the fact that they made that channel, I was very obsessed with. We were both very obsessed with TB. Yeah, John Green's amazing. Also, they all seem like people that, like, as they've gotten wildly popular, it's been they've remained decent people. All right, we're gonna go bug my friend Cap. He's playing the game that I am obsessed with, Expedition 33. But Cap's a good friend. Please be kind to our friends. We have raid messages there for whether you are subbed or not subbed. This is where I tell you all. Be honest, be kind, be useful. And live a good fucking life. And be kind to our friends. We like Cap a lot. Good people. He says, do you put instant pizza on something when you cook it in the oven? Or like let it drip? Don't put it on foil. In the Oh, in the oven? Yeah, put on foil in the oven. I thought she said microwave. Sorry. Don't foil in the microwave. I thought that's what was happening, and I was like, can't raid in the oven. Okay, that's fine. All right, we're gonna raid now that I know that Cheeky isn't suggesting someone start a fire. All right, bye.